Okay, so what normally happens, or
Right.
everything
We are
to the
live
right of
again.
kind of the glowing
What's
nozzle
up, Rock Club
is cooled with
Foundation?
fuel. They actually
We
pump
are
liquid
live
fuel through the
again.
walls of the
We
rocket
are
engine.
we are watching SpaceX right now, and everyday astronaut. Shout out to him. They are lifting off into space right now. So
it's really thin. It radiates the heat away.
So, you know, we're going to listen to what that's going on with that.
There's also, they pipe the
hopefully,
hot,
I'm
well,
sorry
it's
that
not hot, it's not as hot as the main exhaust, but they pipe the gas generator exhaust inside that nozzle to create a thinner layer of film cooling. Oh, there we go, re-entry burn.
But really
of the booster.
freaking awesome, this stuff. Let's go back to
we've got ignition of the entry burn,
page.
Center engine, followed by the other two restart engines. First stage now getting ready to re-enter the Earth's atmosphere. This is about a 29-second burn, and it's designed to slow the vehicle way down.
So we got 3 people here.
70% of the velocity of that dropping first
Alright,
stage.
so we got people here. Thank you guys for coming back to the live chat. Make sure you hit the little like. So close the live stream chat 1 minute.
It's still slowing down
because
now
like
it's into
button
the
right here.
It's only,
and also hit this little share button right here.
More and more pressure
from
the air. That slows it down. That's going to get it all the way down to only a couple hundred kilometers an hour.
Go. This is incredible. Everybody should know this.
One of the 9 Merlin engines one more time.
You know, so
to do the landing burn of the first stage of the Falcon 9.
If you can do that,
it's actually slowing down, as you can see, just from the atmosphere. The atmosphere is doing work for it.
There's that call for Shannon. That's Shannon, Ireland, an abort zone, but it looks like we continue smoothly to orbit today.
And our first stage telemetry might be a little bit off from the real thing, but it's relative. I mean, we're probably within a couple seconds.
And we've got shutdown of the second stage engine on time.
Beautiful.
Again, SpaceX, nominal orbit insertion.
Yes, they nailed it.
Launch escape system is disarmed. And SpaceX copies.
And Leah, the words we like to hear, a nominal orbit insertion.
Okay, now here comes the landing burn.
That's right, John. Nominal orbit insertion, as we mentioned, stage 2. Oh, looks like some action on stage 1.
Wow.
Yes, they nailed it.
And I believe we've had a
they nailed it
on the drone ship.
We've got stage 1 has touched down on the drone ship in the Atlantic Ocean.
Easy.
But now the more important news, second stage is in orbit, right where we want, right on time, and we're getting ready for our next major activity, which will be Dragon spacecraft separation.
Yes.
Now currently on the second stage, we are essentially venting pressure, purging the engine out, making sure everything is quiet in preparation.
Take a look. That's inside Crew Dragon right now. Our Crew 1 crew now coasting in low Earth orbit, still attached to that second stage. In just a couple of minutes, we should see that second stage separate, and Crew Dragon will be flying free.
That's so awesome.
Malia, the mission timer shows 90 seconds to Dragon separation.
And he's looking great.
Currently, Dragon is flying at 27,000 kilometers an hour.
Yeah, it's just screaming. This is Victor Glover's first time in space. Welcome to space, Victor Glover. He's got to just be on top of the world, literally. I mean, think about that.
Plus 11 minutes since liftoff today, waiting on that second stage separation. But as you can see, our astronauts from left to right, Shannon Walker, Victor Glover, Mike Hopkins, and Soichi Noguchi, now on their way to the International Space Station. First trip to space for Victor Glover.
Signal in Newfoundland.
And that call out, acquisition of signal in Newfoundland. That means the Newfoundland ground station is now receiving telemetry from Dragon. This view inside Mission Control Hawthorne. Teams continuing to monitor the vehicle, now traveling at almost 27,000 kilometers an hour.
So now we're just waiting for them to separate from the upper stage. That's what should be coming up any
10
second now.
seconds to Dragon separation.
Here we go.
Dragon separation confirmed.
And separation confirmed. You can see that second stage departing. Crew Dragon leaving it behind.
Separation confirmed.
That's awesome. Looking good. So that is that
Now
unpressurized.
12 minutes 25.
That's the unpressurized trunk that we're talking about. So the trunk is completely open to the vacuum of space. And what they'll do is once it's docked, they can reach in there with a robotic arm and detach things that are inside that Dragon trunk and put them and attach them to the outside of the space station. This might be antennas, it might be cameras, it might be batteries, it might be a docking port or an airlock. I mean, a lot of things can fit inside that trunk that they don't need to bring inside it, or they don't need to keep pressurized because they're meant to be only used in the vacuum of space. So that's what that trunk is there for. But it also serves a multi-purpose because it's also the the radiators for the spacecraft as well as these solar panels to provide electrical power for the vehicle on orbit too. So.
Dragon, we had that short look at the second stage. As it departed, that second stage will burn up upon re-entry into Earth's atmosphere.
Yep, so they actually do, so the second stage, they do deorbit it intentionally. They will let it, they turn it around and they actually will do a short burn, and they'll have it burn up in the Indian Ocean. Kind of, there's this whole exclusion zone so that no, boats.
We see nominal service.
Yeah,
section
we
Draco
probably
checkouts
go
and
through
the
it and
unified
ban some
activation.
people.
And SpaceX
But
Dragon, we copy
we
all
need to
of
have
these
people
and
to understand the reason that people
Information
get
from
banned.
teams on the ground
Maybe
and the crew. You can see
I don't
them
really know what
monitoring
you
those
did,
3
but,
display panels,
you know,
monitoring their
be
journey
nice,
to the
people.
International Space Station and where
You
they
know?
are in the world right
So-
now, or over the world, I should
That's
say.
so cool. I love that view. So they are now in orbit. They are at 200 kilometers in altitude, orbiting the Earth. So in other words, if they were to want to come back down, you actually have to slow down. So that's what orbit is. To get to space, you go straight up. You just get out of the atmosphere. But if you just go straight up, you're going to fall straight back down. So they have to go up to get out of the atmosphere. And then the booster was turning sideways, horizontally. The second stage continues that horizontal velocity until they're at that crazy speed that we saw, 27,000 kilometers an hour. And that's what puts them into orbit. So in order to get out of orbit, you have to slow down a little bit, about 2-3%. And what will happen is your orbit will actually shrink a little bit, and you'll end up with your lowest point of your orbit intercepting with the atmosphere. So once it hits the atmosphere will slow it down even more and more and more until it's suborbital, and let's hear.
Okay, I mean, we could just turn right around in our seats and watch. We got up away from the desk to get a better look, and then we actually could see the booster coming back down.
Yeah, that was outstanding. Outstanding. And I don't even know what to say. High five. We're like high-fiving through the shield here. High-fiving through the shield here.
A picture of my daughter my husband texted me a picture of my daughter watching liftoff. It was just, I'm emotional. Seeing that. And we went on the first attempt. How often does that happen in human space flight?
As it should.
I'm very happy. It has been a long day, but just to be able to stand there and actually feel the rocket pounding the air around you was just incredible. And then looking at the light too long, I couldn't see the MVAC ignition, so I still have spots in my eyes.
And then the views inside the capsule too, with the 4 of them, looking kind of mellow, but you could see Victor's kind of letting his arms do a little bit of the floating thing. I bet he cannot wait to get out of his seat.
Well.
So Nicole Stott, guys, is awesome. She's one of the first people to really sit and do art on the International Space Station. She's the woman to the left, and she is great. She's helped a lot with Yuri's Night and a couple other events that have been around Kennedy Space Center and stuff. She's just a really wonderful human. I've met her a few times. Fantastic.
Our entire ride to station. Though our coverage here at Kennedy Space Center will conclude, we're going to turn it over to the teams in Hawthorne and Houston to take us through the next phases of the Crew 1 mission, all the way through hatch opening and a welcome ceremony for the crew. Now, for those of you watching online via YouTube, take a look at the description below. below the video. There you'll find the new link for our Crew 1 rendezvous phase, and we'll be continuing live coverage at that new location shortly. But if you're watching on NASA TV, like my parents, you won't notice a thing, and your coverage will continue.
That's right. And as you follow along, we also invite you to tune into a post-launch news conference at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time, right here on NASA TV, where NASA and SpaceX will take questions live. And in addition to NASA TV, of course, you can always follow along on Twitter at NASA and nasa.gov for continuous mission updates. We thank you all so much for watching. To all of our commentators, Nicole, special thanks to you for being here.
My pleasure, ladies. Let's do it again.
Oh, please, yes. Well, we'd love to have you back. Here now are some highlights from the incredible journey that's just begun.
Awesome, great. I feel like we gotta say we're gonna stick around for a little bit. I'll answer a few more of you guys' questions, even though I've been at this for almost 5 hours now. I just want to say real quick congratulations to SpaceX, NASA, JAXA. I mean, this just looks like you guys are making this look easy, making it look routine and safe. This is what we love to see. This is the future I'm talking about here. I mean, this is something to look forward to, be hopeful about. You know, we now have a routine access to space with the Crew Dragon capsule, now fully certified for human flight. This is awesome. It looks like it's just going so smooth. So we'll be paying attention to Twitter and other things like that, you know, as we get ready to see how the rest of the mission is going. From here on out, they have about a 24-hour rendezvous from here. Maybe it's 25 hours on this one. It keeps changing every day before they get to and dock to the International Space Station. So I'm obviously not going to be covering all of that. I'll stick around and answer some of your guys' questions here. But so far, just to review, it looked beautiful. I had a little had to hold back tears a little bit, knowing that there's 4 people. This is the most people that have ever been in a capsule, going to the International Space Station, riding on SpaceX's Falcon 9 rocket. Just looked absolutely gorgeous.
What, they have YouTube?
Man, it is.
Play buttons. No, they have YouTube play buttons. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel.
This is what makes me
Everybody here, please.
Happy to be living in the time that we live in. How are you guys feeling?
Be shy. You're welcome to comment or
what was your favorite part? Well, I want to see the chat light up on. What was your favorite part of the mission? Obviously, mine is just that once you realize that it's leaving the pad. You know, once I was just sitting there on my edge of my seat. Almost sitting here just going like, you know, is it going to light? Especially because I thought we were going to get a little bit earlier feed with the Cosmic Perspective feed. It turns out that SpaceX feed was on no delay at all. So they were actually synced up very close. So I was just sitting there like biting my own teeth. Is that biting my tongue? Something biting the air, waiting. And once I saw it, that it was lifting off, man, I was just... Oh, that was awesome. A friendly reminder here for those of you, if you're new here, welcome. We celebrate Team Space. We're just here to celebrate and cheer for awesome achievements in space flight, whether it be humans going to space or engineering or whatever have you. You know, we're all cheering for the stuff together. So I'm actually going to I might take a little mini break here, take a little voice break. Again, thank you guys for tuning in and watching with me. Trusting your time with me, it really means a lot, man. Okay, so one other fun important note is the booster recovery was actually that's an important thing because they are going to be using the same booster for Crew 2. That's huge. You know, the fact that SpaceX it was unproven 5 years ago whether or not you could land, you know, on land and recover a booster was almost just this pipe dream, and it was almost considered silly. Like, why are you even trying that, right? And now it's an integral part of their freaking mission to the point where they're using it again for the next launch, which is just absolutely awesome. I just want to say, too, if you guys want to support what I do and get ready for my coverage of serial number 8, the 15-kilometer hop down in Boca Chica, Texas, consider becoming a Patreon member where you can gain access to our exclusive Discord channel, which, guys, Discord, I love you guys. Thank you for keeping me sane. They've been going through a lot of stuff lately with my script for the Soviet rocket engine video. I cannot wait for that one to come out. I cannot wait to get down to Texas and see the 15-kilometer hop. That's going to be the craziest thing I think I've ever seen in my entire life. If you guys want to support what I do, consider going to patreon.com/everydayastronaut. That really makes all the difference to me, allows me to upgrade equipment and do all the fun things that we're able to do here and bring you guys the best coverage I can possibly do. But another fun way to support what I do is by going to shop.everydayastronaut.com. Again, you can get 10% off of our Normal t-shirt today by using coupon code LAUNCHDAY. That's all one word, all lowercase. At checkout, that's coupon code LAUNCHDAY. But also don't forget, we do have brand new things like the brand new full flow stage combustion cycle hoodie. This is really cool. It has a lot of fun little Easter eggs, little tidbits, and I love that the sleeve even has like the pressure, the operational pressure, and all the different specs of the Raptor engine. Yeah, and then we also do have little tiny baby human merch. If you have a small human in your life, either a tiny human, a baby human, a tiny human, or a young human. Wait, how about tiny, small, and young? There we go. We've got you covered. So go ahead and check out the new youth merch too as well by going to shop.everydayastronaut.com. This stuff really means the world to me too. I love when I see people, you know, sometimes out in the wild, I will see someone wear my shirt. I can't believe it. I can't believe there's people that just want to support what I do and are so excited about what we're learning together, what we're covering, that you guys want a piece of it.
Let me just go out here, back up here. Gotta be okay. SpaceX Live. Wow! I'm actually on the home screen. Labo, look at this. Yay. Okay. See what's going on over here. This is not live. I've been hacked.
It has been an
I've been hacked. This is not a live video. Yeah, this guy want you guys can invest in SpaceX. Wonder how far down this list I am. I'm pretty far down. Okay. Everyday Astronaut is up here, and then let's check this.
We got confirmation of Dragon separation as well as nose cone deploy.
Yes, nose cone deploy came back clear, and we also had some good forward Draco checkouts.
Live
so
chat
all good
is
news there as the crew
stream
continues on the way to the International Space Station. And as we said, the mission has only just begun. Right now, NASA astronauts Mike Hopkins, Victor Glover, Shannon Walker, and Japan Aerospace Exploration
point over the Earth. That means that the orbit isn't a perfect circle, but more like a very slight ellipse.
Dragon SpaceX. Next burn is per your displays, and have some more words on TCS.
Okay, and SpaceX Dragon is ready to copy.
Okay, it looks like during activation, Loop Alpha had a pressure spike, which caused Fitter to trip and fill over to Loop Bravo. However, we do believe that Loop Alpha is healthy, and we're troubleshooting to understand, what our plan to recovery is.
So,
however, we'll go for the burn in the current TCS configuration.
Once we get to, once my live stream get over 5,
Okay, SpaceX Dragon copies. We had a pressure spike on Alpha.
once we get 5 more subscribers, I'm going to get a pizza so I can really be piece of planet, people. Piece of planet.
Give us more words later on how we'll get it back, and we are go for the burn coming up in approximately 19 minutes.
So.
Yeah, good copy on TCS. Regarding the go for the burn, we're still assessing our overall go for the vehicle. However, TCS is in an acceptable configuration.
Okay, Okay, yeah, Dragon copies.
And we are also still assessing cabin environment, and I expect to give you some more words on that shortly for suit doffing.
So they're going to the International Space Station.
Dragon copies.
So those were words from the core, the Crew Operations and Resources Engineer here in Hawthorne, to our crew aboard Crew Dragon. They did have an issue with the TCS, or the Thermal Control System, and you heard another acronym there, the FITTER. That's the Fault Detection and Isolation. It's an automated system to respond to any issues that arise. There was a pressure pump spike on a pump in the thermal control system, and Dragon auto switched to Bravo. We do have 2 fault tolerance on Crew Dragon, and the flight controllers still believe that the pump that had a pressure spike is functional. But the key thing is that we are still continue to go with the nominal burn plan. So over the next 27 hours, Dragon will execute a series of burns which will gradually raise its orbit to align more closely with the station. There are 5 major burns, or firing, of the Draco thrusters on Dragon that will bring the spacecraft close to station before we begin final approach maneuvers. The first, which you may have heard them discuss, is the phase burn. This is performed at the first apogee, or the highest point of the initial orbit, and it raises Dragon's perigee, or its lowest point, to a higher altitude.
The next burn, which is based on what our orbital data shows us, is the boost burn, which raises Dragon's orbit until its orbit reaches an altitude of just 10 kilometers lower than the space station. Followed soon after by the close co-elliptic burn to place Dragon on an orbit roughly co-elliptic with the space station. This means that the crew will be about 10 kilometers lower than the station during their entire orbit around the Earth. The fourth maneuver is the transfer burn, where we're raising Dragon's apogee, or the highest point of its orbit, to just 2.5 kilometers below station. And then we round everything out with a final co-elliptic burn to once again maintain a constant orbit beneath station, this time just 2.5 kilometers below.
And then
So
we'll get
basically
into
what
the
they do
approach
is they have
initiation
to
and
speed
final
up.
stages of Dragon's
they
rendezvous with the
speed up, they
space station.
create-
This is also when we start integrated operations between the Dragon control team here in Hawthorne and the space station flight controllers in Mission Control Houston. The teams will transition to integrated operations roughly 45 minutes prior to approach initiation. During the approach, SpaceX flight controllers will work in tandem with the NASA team in Houston to activate and test out a number of systems on Dragon, including bidirectional communications with the station using the C2V2 system, which stands for Common Communications for Visiting Vehicles, and sets up a data stream from Dragon to the station, giving another path for Dragon telemetry to come to the ground and giving an additional command capability to astronauts aboard the station. They'll also maneuver Dragon to the proper altitude and initialize the navigation sensors used for the methodical approach to station.
Tomorrow at approximately 6:30 p.m. Pacific time, Draco thrusters on Dragon will fire for the approach initiation burn when Dragon is about 2.5 kilometers below station and just about 7 kilometers behind it. This will swing Dragon up until it's about 400 meters directly below the station. This maneuver will also move Dragon inside one of the 2 safety zones around the station that requires a set of go-no-go pulls with the different control teams. The first zone is called the approach ellipsoid, which is an imaginary shape measuring 4 by 2 by 2 kilometers, essentially a large 3-dimensional oval. Before Dragon is given permission to move inside of this ellipsoid, referred to by the teams as the AE, it is configured to be on what is known as a 24-hour safe trajectory. This means that if Dragon lost all control to its thrusters, it would be at least 24 hours before its orbital path would take it inside of the approach ellipsoid.
And once Dragon arrives at 400 meters below station, it will be at waypoint 0, the first checkpoint during our approach. The vehicle can hold at 400 meters or continue on if all systems check out to approach to waypoint 1. By this point, the teams will do a go, no-go for Dragon to move inside the keep-out sphere, another zone that consists of an imaginary sphere around station with a radius of 200 meters. It gives us another chance to confirm all of the guidance, navigation, and control systems are working correctly on Dragon before moving closer to station. And it carries a requirement similar to the AE that if Dragon's orbital trajectory would not bring it inside that
SpaceX for suit doffing.
And go ahead for suit doffing.
Okay, at this time, cabin environments are looking good. So we can give you go for 4.012 and 4.300 for suit doffing, and we are reconfiguring cameras now.
Okay, Dragon copies. We are go for 4.012, 4.300, and you're reconfiguring cameras. And then I want to confirm one more time on the thermal loop caution or warning. We are good that you do expect to clear both of those. Clear that caution.
That's affirmative, yeah. We're currently working on just cleaning up fitter. The response that occurred was both Loop Alpha and Bravo. They both saw the spike, which resulted both of them in tripping fitter, and then we failed over to basically a min.
Okay, we copy. You're cleaning up fitter right now. And so MS1 and pilot will be getting out of their seats and starting the suit doffing.
All right, a lot there from Crew Dragon and the Core.
And Dragon SpaceX, I copied your last call. We were in a teacher's handover. Have some more words on procedure deltas.
And go ahead for procedure deltas.
On 4.012, note that the large outer bags to dispose the comfort garments are with the suit storage bags in location 17. And on 4.300, note that the waste duffel is already installed and steps 1.2 and 1.3 are complete.
Okay, we copy. Large outer bags are with the suits, and the waste bag is already installed.
Good read back, and I'll keep you posted as we clean up the TCS.
Drag cuts.
Hearing it directly from the astronauts themselves. They are go to doff their suits. They've had them on for quite a while today, and they are able to get into some more comfortable clothes. And so, as you heard, they're also reconfiguring the cameras inside Crew Dragon to give them a little bit of privacy up there on orbit, as well as the thermal control system. They're working at clearing those issues, but everything so far looking good for Dragon.
Dragon's move from waypoint 0 to waypoint 1 will swing it up and out in front of the station, pausing at a distance of approximately 220 meters. At this point, it will be on what we call the docking axis, which essentially means that it's directly in front of the docking port. The crew is headed to the forwardmost port on the International Space Station, the Node 2 forward port. That is where Dragon docked for both our demonstration missions and where one of the 2 international docking adapters is located. These were installed for new commercial spacecraft flights and any other future spacecraft that also use the International Docking Standard.
And once Dragon is only 20 meters away at waypoint 2, the spacecraft focuses on aligning its docking system with the docking adapter. Dragon will then fly in and make contact with the IDA, giving us what we call soft capture.
So
the soft capture ring then retracts until sensors indicate it's time for hooks to drive in place to give us a hard capture and firmly secure Dragon to station. And then it's time for leak checks and hatch opening, which is currently timelined to come about 2 hours following docking.
So we have a lot of action to cover for the next 27.5 hours. Let's head down to Mission Control Houston and check back in with Shaniqua Vereen to get a rundown of all the work being done on the station to prepare for Dragon's arrival. Shaniqua?
Thanks, Thanks, Jesse. A lot of work has been done on the space station before we got to this day to make sure we're launching Dragon and this new crew to a fully functioning orbital laboratory. Several hours before the crew boarded Dragon, the space station team did their own go-no-go poll. There are several key systems we have to ensure are functioning properly before NASA can give a go for launch. One of the more obvious is making sure our life support systems are functioning normally. This includes the ability to turn water into oxygen for the astronauts to breathe, the ability to remove carbon dioxide exhaled by station crew into the atmosphere, and our water recovery system, which is now able to recycle about 90% of the water we send to station. We have redundant or backup systems on both the U.S. and Russian segments on the station, just in case we need to take something offline for repairs. The teams also made sure that there were no faults or issues with the station's power or cooling systems. The station's massive solar arrays generate electricity for all the hardware we have on board. All of those electronics inevitably generate heat. We utilize an active cooling system using ammonia and radiators to keep everything running at a stable temperature. We also work with our Russian counterparts to ensure both means of controlling the station's attitude or which way it's pointing are fully functional. On the U.S. side, we have large gyroscopes spinning in the station's truss that are used to stabilize and orient the station on a day-to-day basis. On the Russian segment, we have large thrusters that can be called upon to use fuel stored aboard to maintain the station's attitude.
Alerts ahead of the burn.
Okay, we copy. You're still working the TCS issue.
Yeah, good copy. However, that's not a blocker.
And say that again.
Yeah, copy on the TCS issue. However, that is not a blocker to the burn.
And we copy that.
We'll end up using both once it's time for Dragon to dock, switching to Russian thrusters in the final phases of approach, which can respond faster to any forces felt by station from Dragon's thrusters, and then back to gyroscopes, which are normally smoother and ensure Dragon's docking hooks can deploy successfully. Right now, the Expedition 64 crew aboard the station is still asleep, but they're scheduled to wake up at midnight here in Houston, 6 a.m. GMT on Sunday to prepare. On Monday to prepare for Dragon's docking.
This is the crew. Brilliant on the cabin mic comms.
NASA astronaut and Expedition 64 flight engineer Kate
Hello,
Rubens
Victor.
will be
Got you
monitoring
loud and
Dragon's
clear on the
approach.
cabin mic.
Oh, look, Michelle say, please like the video. Thank you, Michelle. I love you.
Likewise.
Yeah, everybody please like the video. Let's try to get some more people in here. This would be awesome. Alright, so they're taking a break right now. It look like they just watching everything going on. So I don't know. We got pizza coming, everybody. That's really awesome. So that's really going to be great. So
Soyuz and Crew Dragon I'm sure he will play an outstanding role based on past experiences. Experiments on the ISS are expected to contribute to the
It will be docking with the International Space Station.
Well, this guy's back.
But all right, guys. One more. More from Georgie. Thank you guys so much. And for those of you that I missed your super chats, I'm so sorry, guys. But thank you so much for all tuning in. It really, really means the world to me. That's going to do it for me, though. We'll see you guys very soon. I have a lot of awesome videos coming up, so be sure again that you're subscribed. You got the notification bell when videos come out. Tons of cool stuff is coming. So stand by. I'm going to be hitting the road for Texas here, hopefully relatively soon. So pay attention for that. And then there'll be some really, really fun stuff to talk about when it gets down time for serial number 8. So, all right, guys, that's going to do it for me. I'm Tim Dodd, the Everyday Astronaut, bringing space down to Earth for everyday people. Goodbye, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Love you guys.
His live stream. So I guess he's done. But like, I just like, wow, he made so many super chats. He had like 50, 100, 100, $200. I just want to show you guys. Super chats. What this guy's have. Look at it. 50, another $100 super chat. Yeah, these are like close to 1,000 super chats here. I guess that they're not really that much. But they're still freaking awesome though. Yeah, look how this fair that they did. I guess they did that in exactly 60. They had a big fair when they a big parade when they launched the space. Why is everybody so quiet, man? Hello? Hi? We here? No, boring? Yeah, I'm sorry. Well, you guys are the one that's making it boring because I have nothing to respond to. There's nothing going on. You guys are not saying anything. You guys want to, like, want me to say something. Please. Say something. I don't got nothing to respond to. Stealing content from Lois channel. Well, this is actually from the news. So, yeah, so this is public news. This guy actually stealing content from the news, the same as I'm stealing content from the news. So, you know, so this guy's stealing content from the news. We stealing the content from the news. So everybody's live streaming the same thing. There's several people live streaming the same event. I'm just, you know, because it's a big event. So.
Good readback. Yeah, and this is the nominal configuration.
You know, so it's not like copyrighted or anything. This is a public event.
Yeah, drug copies.
So.
And great news from the core crew operations
and Dragon SpaceX, just for timeline awareness.
And then I also got some
just
people
under 1 minute.
Message me saying I should watch this live stream it. So that's just why
copy that.
I'm live streaming the space launch.
And just for your awareness,
and I was also
pilots are out of their suits and they're getting obstructed.
Live stream Everyday Astronaut because you know what he's talking about.
Copy all.
So.
And phase burn should begin in just a few seconds from now. As you heard, the crew are still doffing
Hello,
their
you
suits.
guys
They're allowed to
here?
continue moving around the capsule as long as they don't impart any forces on the capsule itself. Additionally, great news that the TCS thermal control system is in a nominal configuration, as they suspected that pump is still functional,
like,
and
look
so Crew Dragon
at this
continues
solar
its
panel.
journey to the International Space
Look how
Station.
big
Looking
and
good.
beautiful that solar panel is. Like,
Now, in addition to
that
those
all
4
is
bulkhead
powering
Draco
the
thrusters that
space
Leah was
station,
mentioning
right?
earlier, there are 12
Imagine,
more
like,
Dracos
what if
in
you
the
had the
service
solar
section,
panels
which
on your
is
house?
the area along the
Big,
lower
huge
part of the
solar
Dragon
rings.
capsule. These will be used in every burn and are primarily there to help maintain Dragon's altitude, which is especially important when doing the finely tuned approach into docking. They can also be used for smaller transitional maneuvers as well. And we're just waiting for confirmation of that phase burn.
The view on the right side of your screen here is pretty impressive, I have to say. That's the International Space Station. That's from the International Space Station. It's solar arrays specifically, and it's currently flying, let's see here, over the South Pacific Ocean, about 267 statute miles above Earth. So Crew Dragon is continuing its pursuit of the International Space Station, and that's where you can find it right now. Still awaiting confirmation of the beginning of the phase burn. And actually, phase burn has begun. We are a minute underway, so good news there. And it should last about 9.5 minutes, as we mentioned, raising the perigee, or the lowest point of Dragon's current orbit, to a higher altitude. Got a lot of milestones coming up. You know, there were a lot in the countdown to the mission, but there is still a lot to go as it continues its approach to the space station.
Hey, thank you for being here.
The next really major milestone comes at 1:10 a.m. Pacific time. Oh, and we're getting words that the burn is proceeding nominally, so that's good. But tomorrow morning,
so what do you think about space
travel? 4:10 a.m. Pacific time or Eastern time.
About that. You guys really, I think it's really important for the future of mankind. I really think that and society, because I feel like society is going to be able
give them the opportunity to sleep, because those burns, you know, might be a little bit loud, might wake them up. So the next burn will be the boost burn. That won't come until 8:20 a.m. Pacific, or 11:20 a.m. Eastern time. So those are just a couple of the things we can look forward to on Dragon's journey to the International Space Station.
Yesterday Livestream got left on. Thank you guys for watching.
Those are just two of the 5 burns. We'll also have the close burn. That comes at 9:02 a.m. Pacific,
yeah, it got left on. I don't know how
Eastern.
That happened, but
the transfer burn
I were just sitting there watching YouTube
Pacific,
videos about
and
it.
5:45 Eastern, and then the co-elliptic burn. Once these burns, these major burns are complete, we'll be done with the rendezvous phase, and then we'll move into the approach initiation phase.
Space travel is super important. So this is right here. This right here is basically the quicker they go, the further out they can speed.
Good information that phase burn is proceeding nominally. It's about a 9.5 minute burn.
It's crazy, but you think about
that's actually raising
further out the
Dragon's
planets are from the moon,
part of its orbit, as we mentioned, that'll put us in place for the boost burn.
The faster they have to go to actually keep up, because they
Mars, tomorrow morning,
Mars is further from the Earth, but they have to travel around.
They might not be awake just yet. And after the boost burn, which will raise the apogee, or the highest point of Dragon's orbit, to 10 kilometers lower than the station. We will find the closed co-elliptic burn. That's about 45 minutes after the boost burn, and it'll put Dragon's orbit roughly co-elliptic with the space station. That means that 10-kilometer orbit below station will be where Dragon stays around the Earth. Afterward, we have the transfer burn. That will adjust Dragon's apogee, the highest point of its orbit, to just 2.5 kilometers lower than the station orbit. And then the final co-elliptic burn about 45 minutes after the transfer burn, putting Dragon into an orbit co-elliptic with the station. about 2.5 kilometers below it the entire way around the Earth. As we mentioned, after that, the rendezvous is complete, and we'll still be about 30 kilometers behind the station at that time. We'll have the approach initiation burn afterward. This, as we mentioned, is beginning that approach phase.
Yeah, and all of these burns, there's several different burns. They're all doing a different thing for Dragon, but basically it's a very precise maneuver to get to the station. It's very important to make sure that we get there slowly and steadily and make our way right in front of the docking port. So every single one of these burns is extremely important and extremely precise.
Absolutely. And I think it's almost dinner time.
Yeah, I think they're getting ready for a meal coming up in just about a few minutes here, about 12 minutes at 5:30 p.m. Pacific time. The crew will have their first meal on board Dragon, and they have enough food on board Dragon for 12 meals each, along with snacks for the trip up. And these are MREs, or meals ready to eat. They're essentially prepackaged meals ready for consumption without any heating or additional
we got new people
ingredients.
Here.
And they also have
for NASA.
55 liters, or about 14.5 gallons of water with them.
Yeah, and these are a little bit different. Actually, they might be a good bit different from their food that they can expect on the International Space Station. MREs, like you said, meals ready to eat. They don't require any work, which sounds like a dream sometimes to me personally. I love that kind of food.
No cooking.
But they just have to open the package and they can eat their dinner. Whereas on the International Space Station, we have thermostabilized food for some of the options, and the astronauts can. There's a small nozzle on each package, and they can plug that into a water source, which will, they can turn it to the correct.
So, yeah, it's super important to think about space travel as society is. Like, we think about, like, that's one of the, I think that's one of the most important things for society to be able to do, is to be able to travel into space and expand civilization. Because you see this planet right here? This planet is only so big, right? And so far, humans literally right now is living everywhere on this planet that is, and we pretty much running out of space and resources, and in order to, what we need to do is be able to live outside of this planet. And that's why we need to give our resources, because like in a few years, I really think it's going to be cheaper to live in space than to buy a house on Earth. I mean, in the future, I really think that's the future. Really, what's going to be is that that it's going to be cheaper to, like, do you guys think it's going to be cheaper? I really think that that's the way it is. Like, people, because look how many people that are homeless right now that can't afford a place to live, right? There's so many people that can't afford to live, buy a house, or afford to live, right? That in the future, that the people will have to, like, go to space because they have no other option. It's like you can live in space for free, right? You just need a spaceship, and so right now the only thing that keeping an average person going to space is cost of spaceship. But as science and technology come down, that we can come to collaborate together and build spaceships and build colonies into space that's cheap enough that the price of living in space will be cheaper than buying a colony in place on this Earth. So like, if you want, like, I wanted my own farm and my own colony, and to build a farm and stuff on Earth is so expensive, right? Unless you go to, like, but if you want to build a colony in space, it's going to be, it's going to be cheap enough to be able to do that. Like, and like, I think a lot of people don't think that traveling to space I mean, I think we could definitely go to other countries, but think about India, right? India is way Like, there are way more people in India than the United States. There's billions of people live in India, right? There's billions of people that live in India. There's billions of people live in China. There's, like, you know, like, yeah, there's literally like 1 billion people live in India or more. Like, I don't even know. But they, like, in America, there are close to 500 million people in America, if not more. You know, like, it's like the whole planet is just covered in people, and like, it's just going to cost. Right now, it's cheaper. Right now, everybody moving into mobile homes and buses and RVs and van life because that's the cheapest and most sustainable option. But eventually, I feel like people are going to have rigs that travel through space and that are traveling through space because that's be the cheapest option. And 2, once you leave space, you don't leave government. You don't have the government controlling you and telling you what to do. You get able to make your own rules and everything else. I think that definitely the government should make things a lot harder to live on Earth, and governments definitely are going to make things a lot harder to live on Earth. Like, people have it travel in the world doesn't realize how overpopulated the world is. Yeah, people don't realize how overpopulated this world is. Like, we using all the resources we have available, right? Things are going to keep costing more money. Land is going to keep costing more money. Like, it's going to literally be cheaper. I mean, right now, like, we have to have big organizations like SpaceX and NASA to go to space. But eventually, hopefully in our lifetime, it's going to literally be cheaper to live on Mars and buy a house and go to live on Mars than to buy a house on Earth. If it costs $100,000 to buy a ticket to Mars and you can live on Mars for pretty much free after that, there will be plenty of people that will decide, you know what, I'll just get a loan and I go live on Mars, or fundraise or do whatever the heck, or save the money and, you know, invest in the stock market. And they will definitely, yeah. And space, we started going into space in 1969, and then we kind of like abandoned the whole concept. Like, we abandoned space, and it barely hanged on. We invested a few $1 million a year into the space program, and it barely like kept it going, you know? It's like, and then Elon Musk, like a couple years ago, decided, like, I'm gonna put people on Mars. And he started actually investing into space, and like, I think, like, you know, I am like 33 years old. I just turned 34 though. My birthday was like a week ago. Happy birthday, people. But people don't realize that, like, we really do need to, like, work on going to space. And I'm hoping that the people that do stay on the Earth, because there are going to be like way more laws that need to take place to, like, live, that, you know, hopefully to help protect this planet, and the people that live here will really work together to protect the planet, and the planet will be like a protected habitat. Once people decide that they're going to go and they're going to live outside of this planet. And maybe I should do a dedicated video talking about space and all this stuff, but why not talk about it right now? Because I think this is a good opportunity to talk about it. Gen Y. Yeah, so I think that, like, most people realize that we are going to have to, like, that the people that live on the Earth, hopefully are going to be like Native Americans. How are you doing? And, like, they probably going to live, like, a little bit more, but like not as sophisticated as the people that live in space, but they also will like live on the planet in a way that is sustainable and that takes care of the Earth and don't use too much of Earth resources. And once, you know, and things are laws and everything else, and people are going to be like more protected and things, we're going to be able to leave this planet at an exponential rate. Like, think about all the people in the third world country. They're all trying to come to the United States. But if they had an option, do you think they would jump on a spaceship and go? Like, yeah, hell yeah. So, I bet, like, films, once space travel become more of a viable option, there will be billions of people freaking going to space. I mean, guaranteed, like, half the planet would just jump on a spaceship and go if they could. And it was a viable option. You know? And if it was like, you know, and I mean, I really think that it's like if we could, we would, half the people would definitely jump on space and go to another planet. And because it's important. Like, this space travel thing is important. It's so important for us to go to space. You know? Who knows? I might be going. Maybe I should build me a space colony in space. That'd be great. Do a freaking rock club freaking spaceship. Freaking have me and all my YouTube friends live on a freaking spaceship on freaking in space. Make YouTube videos and send them back to Earth. That'd be something. You know? Hashtag space life. What's up, people? Oh yeah, I'm gonna make a video called hashtag space life and just talk about YouTubers living in space. Then that's the next van life. You know? I mean, really, like how I mean, really get off our butt and start putting money into space programs. Yeah. You know, we definitely will definitely. Yeah, you think the people on the space station would do okay for the next 6 months? I mean, I think they would, man. I mean, they definitely have the work cut out for themselves. You know, it's pretty hard to live out there on a spaceship. But I mean, with the advances of building reusable spaceships and stuff like that, and the cost of going to space dropping down at exponential rate, I really think that, like, you know, it's going to be a lot easier to live on space. Like, you know, we all going to live on space. It's going to be like Wall-E, maybe, you know? Like, a company going to come out with, like, a big space station in space, and we just all going to, like, go live out on it. Maybe several companies may build space, like, cruise ships in space that we, like, all live out there on. So everybody is a who's for. I don't know. I don't know why we only have 5 people watching. This is crazy. Maybe I should start a new live stream. I'm going to start a new live stream dedicated to this. And I'm going to restart my whole speech. Okay. You guys be right back, okay? Because we only have 5 people watching. Right. Make sure you guys like and subscribe, okay? I'm going to make me